This is a help me video for question 2. Kidney, just AO1 stuff, remembering just you dissected a kidney, just tell us what the features are, pretty straightforward. On the next page, draw the position of one nephron. So it wants you to actually draw the nephron on the diagram. Some people just put a cross or something. And you need to think about, when you draw the nephron, it's crossing over between two areas of here. So it's crossing over between the cortex and the medulla, wherever you've labelled those. And people have learned the nephron and can show the nephron with the labels, and that was okay. Then we have a lot of writing and an equation, 3 marks. Some problems with this, some things to notice. If you look at what the units are that we need out of this, they're different from what we're given. So, 2 stages. 1, shove everything into the equation, work it out, and then do any conversions for the units. So that wants volume per hour, and that's in dm cubed. This is actually in a minute, and it's actually cm cubed per minute. So some problems there. So step 1, put everything into the equation. There were a few students who got the 2 C's the wrong way around and got a wrong answer. But you're going to get 2 marks out of the 3 for putting things into the equation and punching them into your calculator. And the last mark is for converting. Part C, a few questions now we've seen similar to this, things changing along the length of the proximal convoluted tubule. Glucose and amino acids going down, that's because they are reabsorbed. This is a tubular filtrate to plasma ratio, so how much is in the filtrate, in the nephron, compared to the plasma in the body tissues and the blood. So glucose and amino acids disappearing, urea concentration getting higher. Most people are fine with the first mark here, what's happening to glucose and amino acids. The second mark is from where to where. That's the bit you've missed. And at the bottom, explain the changes in urea. We don't need any urea chemistry at all. We just need to say what's happening or not happening to urea. And then why is essentially the concentration getting higher? And if you remember concentration, it's how much stuff is there and how much medium you've got, how much solvent you've got dissolving it in. So one of those is changing. Then a slightly more difficult graph to comprehend. We have got, if you ignore this straight line going across for the moment, penicillin cannot pass through. The penicillin doesn't go from the glomerulus to the Bowman's capsule. However, it's secreted along the proximal convoluted tubule. As you go along the proximal convoluted tubule, the amount that gets secreted gets higher and higher and higher as you go along. But now then, what's this line? This is the maximum increase in ratio caused by the reabsorption of water. So that means that the concentration of penicillin will go up if you have less water there. And so above this point, you go, well, how's the penicillin increasing? And you need to suggest a mechanism. When it says suggested mechanism, it means a form of transport. So you need to think about all your different forms of transport and and go for one of those. The last part, a drug, sodium paraaminohyperate, PA, was given, and describe and explain. So 3 marks: describing and explaining and suggesting an advantage. So you can see a describe mark, an explain mark, and a suggestion advantage mark. And you need to go, well, what's the difference between the dotted line and this straight line? Remember, this is in the filtrate. You need to think, well, do I want the penicillin in the filtrate where it's going to wave goodbye to the body? And the answer is no. So we want it to remain in the blood. So explaining why this is a good line as opposed to the solid line going up. So tell us, describe this line compared to the other one in terms of how much is in the blood. Suggest how that might happen. Well, it's secreted by the proximal convolutional tubular, so you could suggest that it isn't. And then the advantage, so you're not peeing it out. You'll need less. So a little bit more tricky.